Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Taylor Jones. And do you have any idea what time it is? Last time on Cold Man's Winter Season 4, Taylor Jones narrated about Willie Pringle and his downfall, thanks to the Clarksville gang, the Numbskulls, killing an innocent 17-year-old female by the name of Madison Lawrence. Not only was he blamed for murder, it also affected his wife Olympia and her co-worker, Leonard, aka Lenny, who was Madison's father, leading to tears, fear, and anger in one. But it caused a lot of folks from Clarksville, Tennessee to turn their backs on the Pringles. However, some individuals still stood by Willie and Olympia's side. But who? Their church, despite being vandalized, David, who was Willie's co-worker, and his son, Jacob, Lenny, and another gang known as the Scorpions, who found this hate crime unprofessional. Will Willie and Olympia get their justice, or will Clarksville continue to act prejudiced and or racist towards the Pringles? Find out right here, right now, as Taylor concludes with Betrayal Part 3. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Taylor Jones, and for those who came back to my YouTube channel, TC Jones Edits, thank you so much. And right now, what you're about to watch is a brand new episode of Cold Man's Winter, the long-awaited Part 3, and that is none other than my continuance of Betrayal Part 3, that is. So, for those that are wondering, how long has it been? Well, it has been a couple of weeks, but for a while I did something different. I started doing a couple cover songs for Black History Month, and it's still going on strong. So all power to the people, black people, because this month is for us. And also for those that didn't watch the last video, don't worry. The Look Down Lord video, my cover from the movie Rosewood, will be in the description bar down below. So please feel free to check it out if you get the chance. And also, without further ado, before we get started, I just want to make sure to let everybody know that mostly the folks of Clarksville, Tennessee, I ain't forgot about you ever since I put you on when it came to telling the story. Like part 2, I had to put Clarksville on the map, Clarksville, Tennessee. But now it's time for me to get to the real nitty gritty and continue where I left off when it came to Willie Pringle dealing with hardships after Olympia's co-worker's daughter got murdered by an infamous gang, the Numbskulls. So ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Part 3, Betrayal Part 3. Now, for those you recall the last episode, like we part 1, Willie, we knew what he was up to when he was a youngster doing the music business like underground in Michigan. But when he moved on to living a life as a grown man, he's been through a lot of hardships because everybody from Clarksville started to turn on him. And not only that, Olympia Pringle got turned on by her own co-workers as well in APSU, Austin P State University. But for a short period of time, if you recall, Olympia was started rocking black combat booties and or black leathered boots, and she also rocked the beret hat and kept her kept her mind on taking care of business and also to realize her blackness. She's trying to be like revolutionary, but it didn't go smoothly for her for a couple of days, but she had to keep it going. And yes, Willie and Olympia, they started to act like strangers, but that was a plan. The more people identified that they were still in love, they still gonna talk bad upon them and start to diss them and disrespect them, because the Pringles have already been disrespected for a while, from cats and dogs pooping and peeing on their yard to egg yolks being thrown at their house, like windows, cars, and none of the windows were broken. Let me be clear. But not only that, the neighbors, they decided to kick it up a notch and throw tomatoes. And not only that, everybody was so paranoid, so peed off, and they fell for the numbskull's so-called murder and blame that Willie and Olympia, they have never said a word to each other at all. So it's like it's been happening for a couple of weeks. And if you recall, last time when I compared Willie Pringle to Tupac Shakur, you probably remember that when I said that, it was based on the fact that this is me against the world. Me against the world, baby. Me against the world. Willie against Clarksville. And it's been like that for so long now. Remember, last episode, David was tired of Willie being so mad and antisocial that he tried to put Willie in check. But Willie was concerned about David, like, well, if that's the case, now remember, David admitted he was once a numbskull. And this is kind of like, I'm bringing back The Warriors. The movies The Warriors. Now, Willie, he couldn't even stand being hurt on a daily basis. He got dismissed, and man, it just kept growing. The pain started growing faster and faster for him, that he's suffering. Olympia was suffocating herself. And of course, her so-called boss, Karen, she actually was tired of this madness. Like, if you recall, Lenny was not supposed to set foot in Olympia's office, like stay away from Olympia and all that crap, to the fact that for a while, the student, Jacob, he did exactly what he told Olympia. He's going to do everything he can to help stop this madness from going on. So, for Clarksville, every Sunday, it was all hell breaking loose, especially for the Pringles church family. But they decided to stick with Willie and Olympia's side until the madness died down. And even Thursday nights too. So Willie and Olympia, they separated for a while. Remember, they separated. They didn't sit with each other in church. They didn't talk to each other at home. They had a plan, but they still talked to the church family, and the church family were not pleased with it, but they still found a way to keep them company. Now, they were vandalized, and yes, it was too much. Racism was too much. And the numbskulls, they kept doing the dang thing. Just like the fact that for a while, a lot of people started to be afraid of them. They hid from them. Oh, and they never said a word. We don't talk about numbskulls. No, no, no. We don't talk about numbskulls. And the guy that drove that Charger with the leader, who was drunk and he was trigger happy, he's like, man, he was still hurt over that so-called thing that took place a couple weeks ago. And the numbskulls were like questioning his loyalty. Are you down or what? You know what I'm saying? Mostly the drunk leader. He was so fed up. I should have killed Joe Tell my first chance I get. You still tripping over this? I ought to F you up. No. You ain't gonna F me up. If you was gonna F me up, how come you didn't do it in the first place? Now listen, I don't like what's going on. You need to chill all that out. But for real, the leader had a point. You can't back down and bounce. You a numbskull for life, right? You better act like it. That little Negro had it coming. So don't you dare question your own loyalty as much as our loyalty. Oh, really? Well, what have you been up to lately? What have you done for the Numbskulls crew lately? Ooh, yeah. As if he was quoting in a sassy quote. Well, he was quoting Janet Jackson's "What Have You Done For Me Lately" in a sassy way. It was like, you know what? I'm going to let that pass. That's between you and the leader. Since y'all two were the ones responsible, we made sure that no double crosser is going to stop us. Not even the police. And dare I say, that so-called gang, the other gang. And of course, to the numbskulls, we don't talk about scorpions. No, no, no. We don't talk about scorpions. So every Friday, Olympia had enough of Karen's bullcrap, but she still can't win the fight on her own. She's like, try to avoid her, but sometimes avoiding Karen is not going to work. Heck, even if Olympia tried to avoid Karen's attitude, one false move can get Olympia kicked out of APSU, and she wasn't falling for that. Especially when everybody else was rocking the Olympia Pringle t-shirt when she, remember, Olympia's face on a Pringles can with a forbidden sign, as in, don't trust her. Don't trust a black woman. And Lenny, he wore it, but Olympia was like, at first, you would think Olympia was like, really, Lenny? Really? But Lenny still feeling hurt. You got this. It won't be long. Just keep going. Olympia wanted to be so mad, but instead she was like, she looked at Lenny knowing that after losing his daughter, it's like he's whispering, he's making sure that she keeps moving forward. And it's like you could tell how much God is in Lenny. I mean, to the fact that Saturday, almost every Saturday, Olympia gets a visit from Lenny. But instead, Willie actually spotted Lenny's arrival. So Saturday morning, Willie answered the door and they talked to Lenny. Lenny, man, he really knew what to say. He had a plan to make sure that Willie, and Olympia were doing okay. So he actually studied with him and tried to make sure that nobody else knew about this, not even Karen. But for the numbskulls, well, let's just say that they decided to give Lenny a so-called visit. Because after all, after killing the daughter, they were planning to kill the father if he ever snitched. But Lenny never even snitched on the numbskulls. He never even called their name. And Jacob, he went around town. Like he drives, like whenever he's not at school, he spots Willie, he drives, but not stalkishly, not in a stalking manner, but he drives like to get some ideas about what he's up to. And he also had it planned. He had an idea to follow Willie wherever he goes and to see how one week after another changes up, just to get some minor get some ideas Like how he's going to tell a story, write the paper, and put it straight to Clarksville Daily. Send it to Clarksville Daily. But he been doing that for a while now. Despite all the gas that he wasted on a daily basis, mostly from Monday through Friday. That's when he's a schoolboy. But let's just say that one day at school, Suzanne, Jacob's girlfriend, had enough of Jacob avoiding her. I mean, he wasn't mad, but dang it, he was not even going to take Suzanne's bull crap. And that's when you know. There was one girl, one African American girl, looking and hearing the conversation, the little argument, that she wanted to step in, but she didn't want to lose her cool, so she had to keep it on the hush. She just spotted exactly what went down. And dig this. That female, let's just say that black female had feelings for Jacob. She heard the conversation. She spotted Susie leave as if she won the argument. But Jacob, he was like, heaven help her. Help us all. That the black girl, wanted to break down and cry. Actually, she cried. Tears fell down. But she tried to keep it quiet. So she wiped her tears, but more tears started to fall. She got close. Jacob? Yes. And when she said Jacob's name and he said yes, she welcomed Jacob with open arms. A hug is needed. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's okay. At least you cared. Yeah. And she told her name was Diane. So Diane and Jacob started to know each other. And they actually explained about what they were up to. They started becoming friends at first, but all of a sudden, the other black guys that Diane hangs out with, well, let's just say they didn't take him kindly, like he can't be trusted. Jacob can't be trusted. But little did Jacob know that they were the Scorpions. And yes, for a while, Willie, he actually felt relieved because of Olympia's co-worker Lenny. Lenny actually helped change Willie's perspective in life and how he sees things. Because if you recall, Clarksville looked upon Willie as the negative side of Tupac Shakur. Remember, me against the world, me against Clarksville. Not all eyes on me. And Olympia, on the other hand, she was still down like a Black Panther. No hints given, no dangs given. Just mind her business, stay true to the game, power to the people. Black fist clenched so tight, raised in the air. And one false move, Olympia will knock a Negro out if she has to. But she's a Christian woman. Butts. Big butts. I'm sorry. I say butt a lot. I'm repetitive, but please don't judge me. Just don't. Sunday afternoon, after Olympia and Willie came home, let's just say that Willie had a phone call. A phone call from who exact? Well, let's just say that he had a surprise phone call, like a wake up call from his family. His parents called him to check on him, and Willie had to tell him the truth. But his father, Willie's father, said this. Now, listen, William, I know that racism is keeping you down, and the so called gang thing is getting out of hand. But one day you're gonna have to let that die down. You can't be afraid of any stupid gang. You God's son, and he expects you to follow his footsteps. You gotta walk to the light, even if it means you have to fight. And Willie's father gave him some powerful words to keep him going. Meanwhile, Olympia, she got a phone call from Aunt Beverly. Not only that, Aunt Beverly mentioned that the whole family is worried sick about her because of the hardships that she and Willie were dealing with at Clarksville, to the fact that since their public enemy, Willie D and Olympia Flav, public enemies. Clarksville enemy number one. She had to take Aunt Beverly's advice seriously, that Olympia broke down and cried. But she still had a mindset of a Black Panther. Olympia had a mindset of a Black Panther. Stalking, walking in her big black boots. Beret hat on her head. Ready, black fist clenched, planning to punch somebody. But the only punch that Olympia would do is punch with the word of God. But since everybody started to become godless at her workstation at the Veterans Department at APSU, except for Lenny. Lenny was the only person that Olympia trusted at APSU. Karen was a jerk, and Jacob still had an idea to get some more ideas for the story. So, all of a sudden, Monday hit. And let's just say that Willie wasn't working. Let's say he didn't work for a week. Like, no, he didn't get fired. He didn't get laid off. But the boss, he said that for a while, a lot of employees have done their best, even through bad times. But for Willie, he was the first one to get a week off from work. So what did Willie do for a week instead of work? Well, he couldn't go to the city park because the numbskulls were taking over the mothership. And if they caught Willie, you know they gonna kill him. Just like they did Madison. And yes, it was more than meets the eye. More than that. But, unfortunately, Willie decided to stay home. And do what? Besides clean up the house? What he did not know was that when after Olympia left, well, before she left, she spotted her car being cleaned. Clean car. But who would do such a thing? Who would clean her car? Like 5 a.m. Olympia's car was cleaned before she got out of the house. And dig this, the house was cleaned after she left. Because a couple of scorpions they were hid, like, shh. Is she gone? Is Olympia gone yet? No, not yet. Not yet. Dang it, how long are we gonna shh? Until she leaves, man. And besides, Willie don't know about this. Because after they left, they a couple scorpions, they actually came out of a GMC Suburban. Yeah, a GMC Suburban. And they actually had gloves, plastic bags, and trash bags to throw away the poop. And they actually had bleach to clear up the pee stain. I mean the pee smell, the urine from cats and dogs. They actually cleaned up the house where the egg yolks and the tomatoes were thrown, and the little girl spotted everything. But she didn't snitch. She didn't say anything. Even the scorpions were like, oh shoot, we gotta go. No, 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 no. Forget her. She's gonna be fine. She's not gonna tell anybody about this. Because the little girl knew that because of the gang, the Scorpions, the black gang, all black gang, she knew that Willie was being helped. Despite she still can't talk to the Pringles. The little girl couldn't. And she was getting ready for school because she gotta wait for a school bus. So, after, like, let's just say that they left the house after cleaning up at 6:45 a.m. The Pringles house resident has been cleaned. And yes, it was all peaceful, all quiet, all clean. That Willie, on his week off, he did absolutely nothing except for read the Bible because of a wake-up call that his father gave him, followed by the fact that he actually exercised. But while he was exercising, he actually got back to some hip-hop music. Well, he played some instrumentals, mostly instrumentals, but some of the instrumentals that have background vocals that are vulgar, he actually found a way to shush that noise. So now remember, Willie was a DJ. He was a producer. He had a drum pad in his teenage days, back when he was in MVO, Michigan's very own. And if you don't recall, check out part 1, like the prequel, like the story of Willie Pringle before he became a grown man, before he became an Army veteran. And yes, to all veterans, Army, military, Marines, U.S. Air Force, salute! Thank you for your service. But while he was exercising, you can hear the oh, don't call it a comeback. He was on that old school hip hop sound. He played Slam by Onyx, the instrumental, and that's what he was up to. He was working out, finding a way to overcome his fear with power. Power. Like, he's about to get ready for a fight of his life against the so-called Satan. But that is a tough move. When you getting prepared to have a boxing match with Satan, you got to know when to knock him out, because the God is watching. God is watching. And yes, what's funny, whenever Karen and the others are out for the lunch break, Olympia spots Karen leaving, and everybody else who's peed off at her for being married to a menace to society, Mr. Willie. She knocked on Lenny's door, office door. Hey, Coast clear? Yes. Yes, come in. All right. And they had lunch together. And they talked about how the weekend's going. It's going smoothly, but still a lot of hatred. And yes, when this happened, when the little girl spotted the scorpions, the little girl actually sent a letter to the Pringles, mostly to Willie. Dear Mr. Willie, if you're wondering why the house has been cleaned, it's because there's a black gang who happened to help you overcome the hatred that my mommy and daddy caused, and the other neighbors as well. They'll probably will continue to do this whenever they throw eggs and tomatoes at you. So, just letting you know, with love and support, the little girl. But she actually wrote that. And it was like, it made Willie like, oh my goodness, thank the Lord for this little girl. As if he had a flashback of one of his own daughters. Mostly his younger daughter, his oldest daughter, Kiosha. Because what's funny about Willie's daughters, let's just say that they knew about this. But how though? Well, for starters, the first daughter to know about this was Ashley Kendall. And shout out to Ashley Kendall, by the way. The last time, I had to bring this up. Last time I saw her, she actually took a picture of me and Olympia at the Thanksgiving at Port Clark back on November the 28th, 2019. A year before COVID reared its ugly head. And she was actually a good person. She actually was a good person. And she decided to put her skills to the test. Well, what do you mean by that, Taylor? Let's just say that she decided to create t-shirts. I mean, that's her hobby, but instead she's doing that just to help her so-called father Willie to overcome his fears, to the fact that on the t-shirt it says no one takes advantage of Willie Pringle. That's what the t-shirt says. And in the back of the shirt there was a fist like psh, with the words that says, if you do, you get the black fist. Because black folks don't play around. Punks jump up to get beat down. So Willie spent his Monday exercising and putting his faith in the Lord, and he got a card from a little girl, and he felt so thankful. But what he didn't know was that there was more to come his way. Olympia and Lenny, they actually got involved. They got together behind Karen's back because it was lunchtime. Nobody caught Lenny and Olympia. And they were having a good time. This was the perfect chance. And for a while at lunch, Jacob and Diane, they actually were very fond of each other to the fact that Diane had to tell him the truth, that you may not notice, but What are you doing? This bandana on my head means one thing. I'm a gangbanger, as in I'm a scorpion. Yo, no way. Yes way. And if I recall, your father used to be numbskull, right? Yes, but we don't talk about it. Yes, but we don't talk about that. Why? Why not? If they gonna kidnap me for saying that, then I got my whole crew to back me up. And besides, if I recall, some of them have been watching your every movement. What do you mean? Some of the scorpions watch my every movement. Well, remember Willie Pringle that everybody was mad about, including Olympia from the Veterans Department. Well, guess what? Some people, some people say that you had the nerve to follow Willie just so you can make up a story. Why would you want to do that? Well, ever since I read this so-called ad about Clarksville Daily, they said the first person with a person with a really good story is going to be put. The story is going to be put as the topic, and I'll end up with $500,000 if I win. Oh, that is so good. Wait, we need to do this more often. Oh, what are you talking about? Hook up, you know. You asking me on a date, Diane? Oh, well, I can't. Well, what's wrong with dating a white man? Think about it. And also, it's because of the fact that, as I quote the Flamingos, "Oh, I only have eyes for you." And when she sung that, like, oh, Jacob was about to swoon. Like, oh, he got chills. He got goosebumps. He got chills because he's starting to like Diane a little bit more because of the fact that her gang is going to stop the numbskulls at some point. But to ask Jacob on a date, will David approve of this? But anyway, Tuesday through Thursday, it was ordinary. But Thursday, Willie did the same thing. Willie and Olympia did the same thing. Not talk to each other, sat away from each other at church. And the church started to get more serious. I mean, because what they didn't know that their church was actually cleaned up by the same group, that the same gang that actually find the numbskulls racist crime ridiculous. Not to mention, while they were cleaning up, a couple of Clarksville Police Department cars pulled up. Police, freeze! Oh, yo, I'm gonna run. Heck no, we ain't running jack. But one of the police officers identified the scorpions, and his name was Lieutenant Lester Brooks. He was a 17-year lieutenant, a police officer, and he's a lieutenant for Clarksville PD. And he spotted potential in the so-called scorpions cleaning up Willie and Olympia's church from vandalizing, just like cleaning up their house. But dig this. Instead of arresting all the scorpions that got involved for cleaning up the church, he decided to congratulate them. And he even asked about the whereabouts of the numbskulls. Yo, well, we haven't fought against them for a while. I mean, how do you know, and how do you know about them? Well, let's just say that he knew about the so-called murder that took place towards Madison Lawrence. And that is when one of the Scorpions knew, as in, ding! Willie. Wait, what do you mean by Willie? Willie Pringle. He was blamed by the numbskulls because of this. And he was with that girl, Madison Lawrence, when the leader and the guy who was threatening to take the picture were spotted. And so that means we had to stop by Willie. But yes, that was the case. And yet, not yet. When you think that life was going smoothly, well, let's just say that Lieutenant Lester gave Willie a visit. Who is it? This is Lieutenant Lester Brooks from the Clarksville Police Department, and I'm looking for Willie Pringle. So Willie opened the door, hands up, don't shoot, silence. Sir, I'm not here to arrest you. I'm here to talk to you. And they talked about the so-called thing that went down on the day when Madison got murdered. And Willie, he admitted the truth. He was there. But while they were talking, Jacob spotted the police car and like, dang, might as well get going because it's bad timing. But let's just say that the Scorpions actually surrounded Jacob. Well, Mr. Jacob Walker, out the car, buddy. As if they were acting like the police and they about to jump him. But that's not the case. Well, two of them, they bum rush. Hey man, what you doing? So, you the one that actually stalking, huh? You the one stalking Willie Pringle, huh? What do you mean stalking, man? Man, don't give me that talk. Yeah, man, you better answer the question. Not to mention, I heard you be talking to that girl Diane. So? What do you mean, so? You taken, right? Yeah, but so why can't you deal with your other girl? Man, Suzanne? Oh, she's a hood. Yeah, that hood rat Suzanne. Screw Suzanne. She just mad because I don't have spend quality time with her. And that's when Diane came in. Heck, I'm supposed to be on a date with her tonight. Oh, you dating her tonight? Man, no one touches our kin. Nobody. Well, at least you're not the numbskulls. Besides, I'm like you. I'm trying to help Willie. Heck, I even told Olympia at school that I would do anything to get her and Willie off the hook. So the numbskulls were like, yo, whoa, wait. One numbskull like, yo, wait, let him go. Let him go. You mean to tell me that you on our side now? Yes. My father was a numbskull, so you might as well ask him. You know what? You might as well give your father a little visit. But you're not going to kill him. No, heck no. He was an OG numbskull. But we're going to let him hear this. So the numbskulls and Jacob went to Jacob's house, and not to mention, they had to talk to David. Jacob admitted to his father David, and the Scorpions were right by his side. Then the fact that he even had to tell David, well, one of the scorpions actually, the scorpionettes by the name of Diane asked me on a date. What? You mean to tell me a rival gang of mine to ask you on a date? Yes. I even told them that I was going to help do it. I even told the Pringles I was going to do everything. Mostly his wife, Olympia. Whose wife, Olympia? Willie! When's the last time you seen him? Well, I drove by his neighborhood, but unfortunately, Lieutenant Brooks was talking with him. I guess it had something to do with the Madison Lawrence murder. That's it. This could be the biggest chance to stop this madness and stop the numbskulls from getting any further details. Because for a while, the numbskulls were a little quiet. They were on the hush. We never heard anybody get injured or beat up or murdered, kidnapped, stalked upon, then kidnapped, then murdered, all in one. And Brooks, when he left, he shook Willie's hand and said, I plan to see you next Friday. Matter of fact, I'll pick you up. What do you mean by that? Well, for a while, I had a talk with the mayor of Clarksville, and he would suggest that everyone come to City Hall, and you have to deal with this so-called, well, let's just say it's kind of like a trial, but you're gonna have to speak your mind and let everybody know that you are innocent. And that was a deal. So Lenny and Olympia, they actually got along very well, to the fact that when they spotted Jacob and Diane together, like they actually went to the movies together. Diane and Jacob. Meanwhile, Olympia was treated to the movie by Lenny. And even Olympia had to tell Willie, while Willie told her that Lieutenant Brooks stopped by. Lieutenant Brooks? What's he doing? What's he say? He said he's going to pick me up next Friday morning, because I got to go to the city hall. Why? Well, I'm going to have to speak out and let the whole city of Clarksville know that they were wrong about me. Because Brooks, he was actually the mastermind of watching the numbskulls' evil movements, to the fact that after finding the traces of the murder of Madison, Lenny's daughter, it was about to click. So, if you recall, Ashley Kendall, she actually made some t-shirts that says, "Don't mess with Willie Pringle," with the fist in the back, which says, if you do, you feel the black fist. And Willie's other daughters, now Jasmine, she actually bought one. Jasmine actually bought the t-shirt, and Ashley did it with cash, and even do it with credit card, debit card, especially when you buy it online, as well as finding out where the individuals who bought the t-shirt, and to support Willie's so-called dilemma. And even Janisha, Willie's other daughter, I think she was the youngest of Willie's children. She actually made sure to put put the so-called word on the streets about Ashley Kendall's idea to support and fight for Willie. Just like the Queen and Slim movie. Everybody black, it was like, and especially they were like, what you did to the cop, it was real. Like, I mean, wait a minute, I want to take a pic. Like they were trying to make Queen and Slim famous. All the black folks believed that he was all good. Even the so-called cop that looked like a young version of Barack Obama, he was like, he let him pass. And yes, and the guy who actually sold Queen and Slim out and got the reward money that was riding that box Chevy with them crooked gold teeth, that stuff that you did, you gave a lot, yeah, crap that you did, gave a lot of things, made a lot of some that a lot of black people can believe in. It's kind of like that. Janisha, she put the word on the streets to support Willie. Ashley Kendall, she made the t-shirts and got paid good money. And Jasmine, Willie's daughter number 2, she actually bought the t-shirt. She was starting to put it on her heart and mind that if anyone steps to my father, you might as well step to me first, because I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, just like the tree that's planted on the waters. Oh, I shall not be moved. That's what they were up against. It's kind of like when I stand up and sing I Shall Not Be Moved, this is exactly what Jasmine was up against. She's like, I shall not be moved. I shall not fall down to the white man and what he did to my father. Or no stupid gang. But what about Kiosha, huh? She felt like this doesn't add up. So she, on her mind, had a mindset to travel miles from Indiana all the way to Clarksville to check on her father. But she did that on the next week, especially when she didn't have to work. But let me tell you something about Kiosha. She wasn't pleased when she heard the news. But who in their bright mind would tell Willie's children? Or if I would have to call Ashley, Kiosha, Jasmine, and Janisha, let's just say that I made an African American version of Charlie's Angels. Oh no! The good thing I caught that, because my so-called phone holder was like leaning and like, oh no you don't. Just know I caught my phone holder from leaning, and you know how amped up I get. But anyway, so Willie's Angels, they got the word from Willie and Olympia's family. Willie's parents. Meanwhile, Taylor Stewart, let's just say that he spread the word to Kiosha, while Missy told Ashley, Beverly told Jasmine. I mean, like, family got to stick together, you know what I'm saying? But dig this. Olympia and Lenny spotted Jacob and Diane from the Scorpions, and they were all watching them. Jacob? Miss Olympia? Wait. The Olympia from Veterans Day. Yeah. And this must be Madison's father, Mr. Lenny. Yeah. What are y'all doing here? Well, we actually dating, and well, why are you wearing that bandana? Well, I told him I'm a Scorpion. And everybody looked at her as in, what the heck? Oh shoot, it's about to be a gang fight up in this movie theater. No, no. It's not a gang fight. Not even one numbskull went to the movie theaters. Like, yo, if I'm, oh no, I thought, now, Jacob, I thought you got jumped by these guys. Oh no, I was asked about it, and not, not to mention, I was just, I just stopped by the neighborhood but they caught me. What do you mean? What do you mean neighborhood? Well, you know, this morning I went to stop by Icy Drive and to check on Willie. Like I said, I would do anything for you and Willie to stop this so-called madness. And and that's when my so-called gang members decide to give Jacob a little confrontation after seeing Lieutenant Brooks' car. He knew that it was bad timing. So, wait, the Lieutenant Lester? No way! What is he doing here? Well, he knew about your daughter's murder, so he decided to give Willie the 411, as in, next Friday, my husband is going to be speaking at the city hall. Oh, now that is gonna be good. But I found a way. But since we all won't go, we might as well find a way. How's that? My father actually has a couple of walkie talkies, like, to keep up with. That way, the whole school can hear. The whole city of Clarksville will hear it for themselves, to see it, to believe it. And they actually, Willie, I mean, no, not Willie, Olympia, Lenny, Diane, and Jacob, they actually got involved. Like, they talked about what's going to go down, like what's going to happen. And yes, they were really pleased. They actually, dig this, they actually had 4 seats and they sat all together. It's like sitting in first class of the airplane. Like the fresh gears on the house. But since everybody spotted Olympia, some of them are like, man, F her. Man, screw her. I ain't gonna go nowhere. But other times, oh, yes. Oh no, you good, Amanda. Oh, okay. Hold that thought, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, as I was saying, last time I talked, before I was interrupted to hold my nephew, I made sure that everybody, like Lenny, Olympia, Jacob, and Diane, they actually got along and they watched the movie together, sat together. Everybody, some people were like fed up with, like, they didn't trust Olympia, but others like, you know what? We've been hating too long. Like, let them have their way. But so they had a good time, and Willie, on the other hand, he felt relieved that he had his daughters to help him out, support. But because of what went down, especially for Keosha, Willie's oldest, she had a feeling that she needs to stop by Tennessee. But when she gonna do that? Let's just say that she actually gave Willie a visit the very next week. So, for a while, the little girl standing out and waiting for the bus to pick her up at Willie's neighborhood. She always spots the scorpions cleaning up, and let's just say that she actually gave one of the scorpions a rose. Hey, little girl, don't you? What are you doing up here around 6:30 in the morning? Oh, well, Mr. Scorpion, I just want to give you this. What's this for? Let's just say it's a sign of saying thank you for cleaning up cleaning up the neighborhood. Well, and when the little girl gave the scorpion a rose, like the scorpion wanted to break down and cry. Like he never felt the love that it was tough for him. You know what I'm saying? I sound like I was about to cry too. It's like, man, if I was in the gangbanger shoes, and the little girl approached me, like I tried to do something for somebody else whose life was put in constant danger, constant jeopardy. You know, it was tough. I would want to thank the little girl too. But for real, that little girl actually put one scorpion in a place, like a different mindset, because this was on a Monday morning, by the way. So Monday, it was like official. Willie went back to work, and Willie spotted a scorpion holding a rose and a little girl. Like, not only that, Olympia, she spotted them too. Like, what in the world are you doing in our yard? Oh crap! Oh, yo, Scorpio! Yo! Let's Bill. But Olympia's like, hold it! Don't move yet. And the Scorpion like, oh man, dang, we got busted. Now they're gonna call the police. And the guy with the rose like, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Let's tell the truth. Pringle family, on behalf of the Scorpions, we actually decided to stop this madness from happening. So yes, we came over your house a couple times. We stopped by to clean up your house after your grass was full of poop and pee from the cats and dogs from the angry neighbors, to the tomatoes and eggs being thrown at your cars and your house, outside your house. Not to mention this little girl right here. She gave me a rose. And you know what that rose means? Thank you. So yes, it's true. We spotted Jacob, David Walker's son, while you and Lieutenant Brooks were having a conversation while Olympia was gone. And we were also the same individuals caught by Brooks cleaning up your church when it was vandalized. And of course, everybody's so caught up with that. We don't talk about numbskulls. No. Well, somebody has to. And that's us. We the Scorpions, Pringles. We gonna put an end to the dadgum numbskulls. And that's what Lieutenant Brooks actually is planning to do. To the fact that the anti-numbskulls, the rival of the numbskulls, are working with the police. With all that being said, your house is already put in order. It's all clean. Your cars are clean. And that you're good to go. We may be a gang, but at least we got your back. Black black power to you guys. And little girl, thank you again. Thank you again for this beautiful rose. So the scorpions, they actually spotted spotted by the Pringles as well as the little girl. They got into the GMC Suburban and they bailed. And Jacob's paper on Willie Pringle was almost complete. And yes, he had another run in with Susan, all because he was no longer dealing with her. I mean, he was tired of her bull crap. Cause he found another person. David was pleased with a scorpion named Diane, a scorpionette named Diane. They started dating. Karen, on the other hand, still acting like a sassy, prissy jerk that she is. To the fact that Olympia didn't even say a word. She never even said a word. She followed the orders and even kept her mouth shut. Because one false move that Olympia made, she's gonna get the pink slip. But Olympia still ain't having that. She's still stalking, walking in her big black boots. Beret hat still on her head, day after day. Still a revolutionary Black Panther mindset. To the fact that she don't give a dang about Karen no more. She don't give a dang about her. All she care about is Lenny. And the good times. Here we go again. And the good times that they had since they went to the movies. Lenny treated her because they were hurting together. Even Lenny was pleased to find peace again. He even told Olympia about his hardships. Well, he did not do that yet until Friday, but we're going to wait till that. So Monday was an ordinary Monday, and things started getting better and better. Kiosha had an idea to leave the country. I mean, no, not country. Leave Indiana. She left Indiana. Let's say that she left around 6 in the morning. Or make that 5 in the morning. But dig this. She had to leave around 5 in the morning on a Thursday. However, Tuesday and Wednesday, same old same. But the numbskulls, they were still having the time of their lives, like embarrassing folks, taking change, like school money, my money. Immature. And they didn't even give a dang. They just kept on rolling with the punches, going with the flow. But the guy who felt guilty about what happened, he had to be put in his place every now and then. You know what I mean? So, if you think about it, he was still feeling threatened by his own school, numbskull gang members, his comrades, and Wednesday, Lieutenant Lester Brooks got the Clarksville PD together. He told them about what went down, and he actually asked the Scorpions to come by, and they got a part in this. So since the Scorpions have worked with the Clarksville PD, one gang is going to take another gang out because the so-called hate race that the numbskulls caused to Willie and his lifetime as a Clarksvillian, that madness has got to die. And I mean immediately. But unfortunately, this is kind of like the Warriors all over again, which means Lieutenant Brooks and the Clarksville PD were the Warriors. And the guy responsible for shooting Cyrus, he has another thing coming. He and his gang does. And the Scorpions, they're the black gang at the end, again respecting the Warriors. Because this is it. It's the final countdown. But still at home, Olympia and Willie actually were starting to get along again, like start talking again. But they still have an unfinished business, an unfinished job. So that means they can't talk to each other. They can't. But since they had a phone call last Friday, guess what? Things changed. And since they spotted the Scorpions cleaning their house on Monday morning, it's like they're getting close together again. But they didn't want to keep their cool. So Thursday night, Jacob actually, finished up his paper. He finally got his paper about Willie Pringle based on how he was betrayed by Clarksville over a hate crime and how it has been solved. He actually predicted the future. He actually predicted it before Lieutenant Brooks and the Scorpions and the Clarksville PD got involved and put an end to the numbskull's reign. But earlier that day, Suzanne and Jacob had one last argument. And it was so serious that Jacob actually raised his voice. Suzanne made a scene. Jacob had to make a scene back. Oh, yeah? Well, take this. Everybody looked. All individuals looked. Even the Scorpions and Scorpionettes that attended Austin P State University, they were like, oh, snap. This is going to be good. Hey, yo, wait. What do you mean? Yo, ain't that the guy that you try to jump over Diane? Yo, and then all of a sudden, after Jacob will put Suzanne in her place, as in, you can totally forget about me. You the one that's tired of my bull. Well, I'm tired of yours. That's why I'm dating somebody else. Because you are done. And all of a sudden, after being slapped in the face by Suzanne, how dare you? Jacob was like, do that again, please. He's like, when he said do that again, people thought he lost his dang mind. But when Diane saw what happened, he actually got slapped again, but this time from the left side, first attempt, to the right side. And Suzanne, she had another thing coming. Ding, ding, ding. Suzanne, turn around, and then, bam! Diane punched the heck out of Suzanne on her nose. No one puts, I mean, well, how am I going to say? Don't you ever put your hands on my new man. Scorpion for life. Come on, Jacob, let's go. I was like, ooh. And the Scorpion's like, oh, yeah, man. That's good. And everybody was like, they were clapping, cheering at the cafeteria too. Everybody was surprised. Even Lenny was surprised to see the way that Jacob played it smooth. After getting slapped twice, and he actually let his new girlfriend, a Scorpionette, finish Suzanne off like taking out the trash. Nobody even helped her up. Suzanne had to get up herself. Matter of fact, it was so smooth that Lenny wanted to tell Olympia. But since Karen was here, you know the routine. Wait till later. But meanwhile, Kiosha, she actually made her way to Clarksville, Tennessee. Well, let's just say that she actually had a hotel. She actually bought a hotel. And she stayed in that hotel for a couple days. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But she made sure to surprise Willie soon. So, Thursday night, Olympia and Willie went to church, but they still had to drive separate. But after church service was over, like Thursday night Bible study, they drove home. Willie actually left. He had no time to speak to his fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. He just made sure to come home. But when Olympia got home, he actually pulled out. Willie actually had a cards full of Uno cards. And Olympia was like confused, like, why you playing? Why would you play Unos right now? Uno. But then she realized Madison. She sees Madison as in flashbacks of when she came over and they had Uno. Oh, what the heck. So Olympia sat down on the table. Willie and Olympia played the game Uno. And they started to remember the tricks that Madison had. Red for fire, yellow for earth. No. Yellow for wind, green for earth, water blue, fire red, and yes, It's a reference to the Fifth Element movie. So they actually found that the cards that has like a little hint, like back at you and skip a turn, including draw two, draw four, wild card, choose a color. You know, all that. Even if it means to swap their cards to see who got the bigger piece and the little piece, because the person with the little piece is this close to winning. And by the way that Olympia and Willie sat on the table, it's kind of like they're recreating the art cover of Marvin Gaye's In Our Lifetime, which has been recreated by Daz Dillinger from the Dog Pound for an album he made called Revenge, Retaliation, and Get Back. Which, on Olympia's side, she is the angel. She's dressed up in a white dress, no shoes, just barefoot, long flowing hair, a pair of hoop earrings, like, let's just say it was like large silver, platinum hoop earrings. No halo, no angel wings, but with a dove on the chair, on her side of the chair, and a butterfly. Meanwhile, on the other side, Willie. He was dressed up in his Chicago Bulls attire with red, black, white tennis shoes to match the color scheme. A snake, followed by a long-eared bat swooping. It's kind of like you see, and right between them, like far away, you see the world ripping in half. You know, that album cover. It's like Olympia is an angel, Willie's the devil. And they're playing Uno. But based on the way that Madison played the game, Willie spotted Madison. He remembered the way that Madison played. And Olympia started to remember it too, to the fact that it was official. They finally found a way to put an end to the nightmare by playing the game and realizing the trick shots, the trick cards. But Olympia won fair and square. Willie didn't complain. And he realized that this was it. But unfortunately, before he came home came home that Thursday night, his boss made an announcement. And David was there too. His co-worker David was shocked to hear this. Tomorrow, Willie Pringle will not be working with us. He will be off to speak at the City Hall in Clarksville. So all prayers and support for Willie is needed at this time. And they all pray together. But then, since Kiosha had a hotel stay, she heard that there was a city hall meeting. Willie had to go to the city hall to speak his piece, but it was Friday. So, the very next day, Friday, the day when Willie goes to the so-called City Hall, Clarksville City Hall. A lot has happened Friday night. On a Friday, actually. Olympia wakes up. She wakes up at 6. Friday morning, 6 o'clock. Her curly bob hairstyle. A large pair of golden hoop earrings. Her yellow long sleeve shirt with a navy blue or black with yellow and white and pink flowers on the so-called vest. On the long vest. Leggings, black leather boots, beret hat on her head. She grabbed her purse, car keys, and she bounced. She bounced around 6:45 p.m. A.m. heading to APSU. Meanwhile, Willie wakes up. Another Friday off of work on the day of. Got up, said grace, said prayers, ate breakfast, said grace. Coming up with something to wear. And Willie came up with an ordinary black and white, black suit, white tie. Oh no, black suit, white shirt, black tie, black shoes. But Lieutenant Lester actually gave the word to Willie that he would be on his way to pick him up at 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. And dig this. Let's just say that before the so-called pickup, Willie actually called somebody, but not cell phone related. But let's just say that it was different. He called somebody from Facebook phone call. And who could he call from Facebook? Well, I'll give you one word. Me. So yes, he called me. Let's say he called me around 9:15. 9:15 a.m. Friday morning, remember. William Xavier Willie Pringle called me from Facebook. I answered the phone. Hello. And we had a good conversation. Oh, how you doing? Oh, I'm just resting. I ain't got much to do today anyway. So why you calling me? Well, he talked about the fact that he's going to the city hall and he probably needs some assistance. So he relied on me. And I gave him some advice. I told Willie this. Well, Willie, since you're going to the city hall and you're going to have to talk to a lot of people, all you have to do is tell the truth and let everybody know that I may be black, but I'm not always considered a criminal. I mean, the so-called hate crime towards me has been too much to handle, too much of a pill to swallow. And you fell for some random gang's lie when another gang tried to put me back on the front. Call it what you want. Believe how you want to. But you all letting the devil get the best of you. Because what would Jesus do? He would tell you that you need to turn your lives around. And he was serious about calling me. He asked for my advice, and not to mention, I gave him some ways to help get through the trauma, the struggles. And I gave him some good advice, even though he can hear my granddaddy in him. Shout out to Charles Taylor, my granddaddy himself. He can hear my granddaddy inside of my mouth. Willie had no other choice but to accept it. He thanked me for it, and he asked me to pray that things go smoothly for him. And I said, "You're in my prayers." And then he hangs up. And then for me, well, let's say I just get up a little later. But 9:50, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock, Lieutenant Brooks arrives. Willie Pringle walks out of the house, locks the door behind him, and did this. He had to ride with Brooks, and Brooks drove a 1985 Crown Victoria from Ford. No dent, no paint trouble. It was an ordinary silver Crown Victoria. The automobile that you see in the first Men in Black film that Tommy Lee Jones was driving. So they drove through City Hall. And when they got there, 10:15, because you got to remember there was some traffic in Clarksville. Everybody who was against Willie, they actually were there. Even the mayor of Clarksville spotted Willie's arrival with Lieutenant Brooks. And if I had a jukebox, I would actually play something like this. Now, dun 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 dun. So, Willie walks in. It's like walking in slow motion that you see in the videos, in the movies, to the fact that this is it. This is the last hurrah. This is my chance to prove Clarksville wrong. That was his mindset. And based on what I said, and based on the Uno card game that he played, he knew that enough is enough. So, he walks in, and that's when everybody spotted him. Well, if it isn't Mr. Willie Pringle. And yes, not only was he heard and spotted. Now, if you recall, Jacob had a lot of walkie-talkies. Like, he had them placed everywhere. He had one placed so that everybody can hear, especially at Austin Peay State University, including David's workplace. Yeah. And of course, everybody from Willie and Olympia's church, they had to hear it too. everybody was hearing what went down at the city hall. But for Jacob, after having two classes set up, we like finished up for the day, he actually made sure that Olympia hears this too. So he had an extra walkie-talkie placed on at the APSU, and he personally placed it in front of Lenny's office. Lenny? And even Miss Karen had to hear what Olympia's husband had to say. So he said exactly what was on his mind, and even the city mayor questioned what was the deal. Why would he feel this certain way? And Willie told him. He told the entire folks in the city hall that he is looked upon as a Tupac Shakur, negative. But you don't understand the side of me, the real side of me. And the real side of Willie was looked upon that everybody started to realize that they really did make a mistake. Everybody made a mistake, all because they fell for the numbskulls' evil deeds, all because they were on a hush hush. You don't tell, you don't snitch, you don't get killed. It's kind of like a way of realizing that Willie said that enough is enough. This is a big deal. I'm keeping it real, and I'll be darned to get my Christian cap peeled. You know what I'm saying? Like a short little rap to tell the numbskulls, game over. You gonna lose one day, and you will. And Willie was so serious. It's kind of like he did his own sermon. And afterwards, after 30 minutes, after the 30 minutes, there was a 15-minute recess. So after 15 minutes, and the time is now, it ought to be like 11 now. 11 o'clock, the 15-minute recess is over. And the city mayor, he exactly accept the fact that Willie was telling the truth. And also, he would see to it that if it wasn't for Lieutenant Lester Brooks, Lester Brooks being by his side and finding the real individuals responsible for the so-called death of Madison Lawrence, which later became a hate crime, causing a lot of folks to turn their backs on Willie, including his wife. Everybody was appalled in the city hall. Like they were shocked, they were silent. Some of them shed tears because they knew they messed up. And yes, after the city mayor slammed the gavel like a judge, as in, we find William Pringle not guilty. City Hall adjourned. Case dismissed. Courts adjourned. It was over. And yes, Lester actually brought Willie straight to his church. Willie's church, that is. And the sun was shining so bright. It was a very smooth feeling. A really good feeling. But let's just say that Olympia didn't pay attention to the so-called, well, she did, but she was not ready to celebrate yet. But that's not her fault because let's just say that Lenny, after the so-called trial was over, the so-called City Hall thing was over, he decided that enough is enough as well. So he actually brought a t-shirt of Olympia Pringle on a Pringle can with a forbidden sign, and he actually threw it inside Olympia's door. But Olympia saw you like, who did this? And I was about to say Lester, Mr. Lenny, Olympia's co-worker, came out singing to her, and of course everybody else, they actually had their anti-Olympia shirts, t-shirts, and they decided to get rid of it and throw it on the floor. Because I feel like at some point, Olympia, she would have to have the last say towards Karen. So what did Mr. Lenny saying? Well, let's just say that he was inspired by a former Nike commercial where the late Kobe Bryant was dissed by a lot of folks, and everybody who hated Kobe Bryant sung opposite Otis Redding's song. You know, when Otis Redding, I kept loving you, but instead they said I kept hating you, including Phil Jackson and Paul Pierce. Olympia Pringle, I've been hating you for so long. I must stop now. Now are times that you wanna be free. The pain is growing stronger. Now it's plain to see we've been hating you for so long, but we must stop now. For Willie. And not to mention, to Olympia's surprise, Lenny was wearing the t-shirt that Ashley Kendall made. And he even stood by Willie's side. Everybody worked at the Veterans Department wore the t-shirt that Ashley Kendall made. It was a big deal. Now remember, Jay Nisha put the word on the streets. Jasmine wore the t-shirt to stand for Willie. Ashley Kendall made good money. And let's just say that she made like a whopping $3,500. $3,500. Almost $4,000. And everybody loved that idea. They loved it. Because the so-called City Hall thing, it became a prime thing. It made the TV screens everywhere. Everybody heard it. From Austin P Cafeteria. Yeah! Even the Scorpions were cheering with glee. Even Diane was so pleased. But man, after Lenny sung that, Olympia stood up, open arms, hugged like this, which means Larry had to lower his head like this. Olympia's right ear touched Lenny's right ear touched. And Olympia, Pat, everybody else was clapping. Some of them were crying because Lenny had a really nice voice. And he proved that you can't be scared of Miss Karen. Thank you, Lenny, so much. Thank you. I love you, Lenny. And she did say that she loved Lenny as a friend. I love you too, Olympia. And Miss Karen came, what the heck are you doing? I thought, Lenny, I thought I made it clear to stay away from this Olympia. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to fire you. No, you will. Oh, no, you won't. No, you won't. If you fire Lenny, you might as well fire me. Excuse me? Yes, you heard me, peasant. You've been doing too much, and too much fussing and fighting to the fact that you're gonna treat me like a dog. Well, guess what? I'm not gonna let the white man or white woman take my dignity away from me. Now you've been doing this too long, Miss Karen. So if you want to fire me, go ahead. I don't give a dang less. But Jesus is going to put you in your place soon. You better remember where you came from, Miss Karen. Because if you're going to fire me, I might as well quit first. You know what? Count me in. And a lot of folks, co-workers of Olympia, started to be brave. Lenny was like, no, you can't fire me. But Olympia did the most talking. Together we stand. Divided we fall. But Karen, you have crossed the line once and for all. And not to mention, one of the employees, the co-workers, actually gave her this. What is this? Well, you know when people say we didn't weep? Well, you be the judge of that. So, Miss Karen opened up the letter in the envelope and the color was pink. Miss Karen, thou art terminated. Thou art smoked. Or as an old saying from The Clash, instead of stay, should I stay? No. It's should I go? As in, should I stay or should I go? Karen, you got to go. Bye-bye. But dig this. This is not only a celebration because Miss Karen got fired, but Lenny, he got the new job. He's now the boss. And because of his self-opinionated mindset as positive behavior towards Olympia, he will prove that everybody will not take any BS from Karen ever again. And the first thing he did as the new boss, everybody was celebrating, hugging, and just clapping. Yeah! First thing that Lenny did as the new boss, he would tell everybody to throw the old t-shirts that Miss Karen made against Olympia away for good. And since they were all rocking the t-shirts that Ashley Kendall made, justice was served for now. But afterwards, Jacob was planning to get all the walkie-talkies one by one, and then he made a trip to the Clarksville Daily, and he actually turned in his paperwork, his story. Excuse me. And dig this. After reading a snippet of it, his work, everybody from Clarksville Daily found Jacob's story unbelievable, inspiring, motivational, and heartwarming, to the fact that it made some of the individuals read it cry, because this was a true story, and it was like, it hurts to be hated upon. And dig this, before he even left, Jacob left the Clarksville Daily, he was asked to take a picture. And he held a $500,000 big check, as in his story won. So Jacob was happy. He was happy that his story is the best story that was made. To the fact that when he left Clarksville Daily, he was full of excitement. He drove back in his truck, driving back to the so-called the so-called Austin Peay State University. Yeah, he went back to APSU, and he made sure to tell everybody the good news. And of course, when he told the good news to Miss Diane, the Scorpionette herself, his new girlfriend, kiss, kiss on Kips on the lips. Ooh. Yeah, Jacob was surprised to get kissed by Diane because of the story about Willie Pringle, how he was betrayed over a hate crime that he didn't commit, and to the fact that Willie doesn't have to worry. I mean, he won fair and square at the city hall. Olympia won fair and square against Karen, which Karen lost her job, and her co-worker Lenny, Olympia's co-worker Lenny, Leonard Lawrence, Lenny, became the new boss. And he was better than Miss Karen. And he also gave Olympia confidence. The fact that things were going smoothly. But meanwhile, at Willie's church, Willie was pleased with the fact that he made it through, but there was still some unfinished business, especially for Lieutenant Brooks. Well, Willie, I'm glad that you made it this far, but at some point the numbskulls have got to go. Man, I might as well take you home and get ready to do some business tonight. There's no need for that. No need for that, Lieutenant Brooks. Willie Pringle. And when she said that, when Keosha said that, Willie didn't know who it was, and he thought it was one of them so-called haters from Clarksville. Make one more move, and you are going to be exposed one way or another. Because I have nothing nice to say to you. Well, actually, I'm here to take you home. Daddy. Mm, Daddy. Willie Pringle, you might as well turn around every now and then. And yes, Kiosha, Willie's firstborn daughter. Surprise. Kiosha. And Kiosha ran to Willie with open arms. What brings you here? Well, I was so worried about you. Everybody was worried about you. Not to mention, Olympia's nephew actually told me about this so-called madness going on with you, and I decided to take you home. Lieutenant Brooks, we got it from here. All right, take care, Willie, and congratulations. So, Brooks got in his Ford Crown Victoria and he left because he got a plan to get rid of the numbskulls, along with the Clarksville Police Department and the Scorpions, in which Diane had to get involved as well, but not as much as Jacob, because she actually invited him, and David as well. She invited Jacob and the former numbskull himself, David, to see it to believe it. But meanwhile, Kiosha, she drove Willie back to the house, and they talked. But let's just say that Kiosha's so-called car was actually a classic. What do you mean by this? Where are you going with this, Taylor? She drives, let's just say that Kiosha drives a 1984 Cadillac DeVille, aka the Box Caddy. The Box Caddy, all orange, not candy paint, just plain orange. Orange. Tennessee orange. An orange 84 box caddy. I was about to say box Chevy, but you get the hang of it. Just don't judge me, please. Box caddy with them silver Daytons. She's not trying to be fancy, but she takes care of her car. She cleans it up. She actually put a little shine to it. Riding in that caddy. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lead. Woo, ding, 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 ding. I got a diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lead. Woo, ding, ding. Just having a good time on a beautiful sunshiny day. Friday, that is. TGIF. So Kiosha and Willie, they talked. Oldest daughter to father. Based on the concerns, and she even explained that the so-called t-shirt idea that Ashley did was a big success. What do you mean by that? She made $35,000. Wait, no. Let me phrase that. 3,500. Woo! $3,500. And making a t-shirt to support me based on the hardships I had to deal with because of a so-called gang, the numbskulls. And yes, it was crazy about that. And to top it all off, she was stunned. She was stunned when she heard the news, the so-called City Hall thing. Everybody was stunned. But that was not all. Because before Olympia left APSU, like at the time when she was leaving, Lenny said, Olympia, I'm so proud of you. You actually stood up to your bully, your giant. And now that I'm a new boss, I could have thanked you more and more. And now my daughter can finally rest in peace. Thank you again, Olympia. Olympia had nothing to say. She was speechless. She was like so happy. But when she spotted Mr. Jacob, Mr. Jacob Walker looking for this. So Jacob walked to Olympia. Olympia walked to Jacob. He grabbed the walkie-talkie, and not to mention, he explained that, man, it's been one heck of a day. Oh, well, it's official. What is? Well, you're no longer Clarksville enemy number one. Neither is your husband Willie. Because of that, I did put everything in place. And she was so pleased with him. Jacob, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't make it this far. And thank you very much for all you've done. I guess you and your father David have something in common. And everybody was so pleased. Everybody was pleased. So Olympia and Jacob, they actually were about to part ways, but not until Jacob told the news. Well, I'm officially, well, dig this. You don't have to worry about me any longer. Because the so-called story that I made, well, I sent it to Clarksville Daily and I got it. I won the story and $500,000. Oh, Jacob! Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Olympia gave Jacob a hug. Her right ear touched Jacob's right ear. She was full of excitement. You take care, Jacob. Thank you very much for what you've done for me and Willie. Anytime, Mrs. Pringle. So, Jacob got into his pickup truck and he left. Olympia got into her car and she left. She decided that since she was in a good mood, even though she was still having a Black Panther mindset, but she started wearing colors, like she started wearing yellow. When was the last time you seen a Black Panther wear yellow? Now she's still rocking the black leathered boots and the beret hat, but while she was driving home, she heard there was like she turned on the radio. And dig this. One rap song came in mind, but it was actually from a guy named Uncle Bean. Uncle Bean was on the radio? That's weird. But what song did they play from him? Well, let's say that they played West Van Hook. And West Van Hook was so smooth. It's like Olympia was hypnotized by the way that the song sounded. It's like smooth. Because the first time you hear the candle flick, it's kind of like what Uncle Bean should have said was, I had to light a candle for this one, so please bear with me. Even though the song was like 6 minutes and 15 seconds long, she wouldn't mind. The radio played the whole song. And even Olympia, like, for a while, she started humming and, like, ad-libbing. Because when Uncle Bean had a powerful way to explain what was on his mind when it came to West Van Hook, there was one part that actually got Olympia's attention. When he said this, what did he say? I'm thinking. I'm still thinking, by the way, so don't judge me. Am I blaming on the reality? No, I'm not. Make yourself like a red light, so just stop. Hmm. Oh yeah, the part when he mentioned um, school shootings are putting a lot of folks in shame. But the number one question is who's to blame? Parents? Well, parents, friends, video games and movies, people with mental issues, and that's a doozy. Like texting someone, but texting that is. Texting someone that they have no time for that because they're driving. Why can't we take a step back? Olympia Pringles on my mind, but I gotta wait. My mom's concerned that I gained just a little weight. Limpy was like, oh, 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 hey. Olympia. Wait, what? How does he know my name? How does how does Uncle B know my name? Well, let's just say that when he kept going for a short period of time, she was speechless. Like, who? How did Uncle B know who I am? And then she realized that Uncle B, Miles Contender. Dun dun dun! Uncle Bean was me! I'm Uncle Bean, Olympia. My rap persona, Uncle Bean. Taylor Jones, as in, I never stopped thinking about my cousin Olympia. Olympia Pringle's on my mind, but I gotta wait. My mom's concerned that I gained just a little weight. Whatever happened to the active PSAs that said get up and play an hour a day? Why can't I accept tough love and change? I'm not a doctor, but the madness is very strange. So she heard me very well, and when she recognized what Uncle Bean meant, or West Van Hook, she realized, Olympia realized that West Van Hook is actually a song about a neighborhood in Milan, Tennessee, her hometown, her once hometown, which is my hometown too. West Van Hook Street, Milan, Tennessee. Uncle Bean, me. And yes, it was a shameless plug, Olympia. I did a rap song and I called your name based on my impatience. But back to the story. After hearing that little line, and she started humming, ad-libbing again, and she just loved this song. She loves West Van Hook, that she decided to play it. I mean, well, let the whole song play on the radio, and when she got home, she was just singing based on that song, the West Van Hook song. And yes, what was funny, when she got home, the little girl actually stopped by because school's over already, and Olympia, hey, what brings you here? Well, I want to congratulate Willie on his so-called city hall, and this is for you. Oh, thank you. So, so her Friday got better and better. Olympia's Friday got better, but when she walked inside, she also spotted a box caddy, an orange Cadillac DeVille, 1984, out in the parking lot, out at their house. A surprise. Kiosha actually was here as a surprise. And she and Willie were actually, they were preparing dinner. Olympia got home, and yes, at 5 o'clock, they saw the news, and then bam, they saw Willie, and the news was so amazed by this. that they had to make that a top story. But dig this. They also brought up the Friday special. It was a Friday news special when they spotted Jacob. Jacob was on the TV with a picture of him with a $500,000 gigantic card, like a check, based on the fact that he won a story, and it was based on Willie. Oh, nice! Keo's like, all right, that's good. But Willie was like so shocked that, oh my gosh, he did this for me. He won the story because he wrote a story about me. It like, oh, wow. No wonder David had a bright son. And Olympia, she took off her glasses, her beret hat, and she was crying. Crying tears of joy. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Kiosha held her close. And yes, later on, they had dinner. Kiosha, Willie, and Olympia had dinner. They were pleased that the so-called nightmare was over. But it was far from over. Because later on, Lieutenant Brooks, Lester. Of course, I'm going to slow down. Lieutenant Lester Brooks and the Clarksville Police Department met with the Scorpions. But they kept quiet. Matter of fact, they all didn't even dress up in police uniform. And the Scorpions, they were watching the whole thing too. And as for Jacob and his father David, an original numbskull, let's say that David had one last trick up his sleeve to see if he still got what it takes based on his revenge to his old gang. Now remember, it's kind of like the ending of Warriors when the Warriors and the Black Gang caught the criminals responsible for killing Cyrus. And the guy who was had regrets. Hey, look, man, will you chill already? How long has it been? It's been a couple of weeks. Get yourself a beer, bro. Come on. Hey, leave him alone. Oh, it doesn't matter. Look, man, just chill, all right? Just don't worry about what went down. You still got us, right? This is how just celebrate. Ain't nobody gonna stop us. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You know how to did. You still tripping. You need to get some girls, man. Well, we ain't got no girls because there are none. It's just us. Oh, that's right. Oh wait, I'm gonna call up. Don't you mope while you at it. Matter of fact, why don't you get some more beers? As you wish. So the guy who drove the Charger, he was actually getting beer, and then all of a sudden, all right, gentlemen, get ready to get through. Mr. David, got it, sir. All right. And they found a window to throw the so-called it wasn't a bomb, but it was strong enough to fog up the whole scene. Yo, hey Nick, what the heck was that? Yo, who's at the door? What? Oh my gosh! It's a trap! Run! A trap! Oh my! No. So a couple of numbskulls ran, including the first guy who was Mr. Regret Everything. Like, all right, guys, get ready to cock your guns. Scorpions, you need to check this out. Okay, David. Good job, David. Good job, Mr. David. Thank you, Diane. And Jacob was like, oh, this is gonna be wild. You can tell him, you can tell. And Mr. Regret Everything opens the door. Oh! Oh! Oh no! Clarksville police, freeze! Get down! Get down! Yeah. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh shoot. Hey yo, I think it was the Scorpions. They set us up. What? What F that? Come on. Grab your guns, nigga. No, wait. I forgot. They're white. I'm sorry. Grab your guns. Come on, numbskull. Let's go. Let's go. So everybody was shocked to see this happen. Now remember, there was like 15 or was it 20? Whatever. 15 numbskulls, and like the first seven they ran out and they had their hands up, got on the ground, and they were arrested. The other 8 tried to escape from the window, but it didn't work because some of the Scorpions actually jumped them. Oh, yeah, take that. Take what? What? And yes, that was 4. Uh-oh. I gotta charge up my battery. Anyway, 4 Scorpions. 7 Scorpions were arrested. 4 Scorpions were jumped by the four numbskulls were jumped by the Scorpions. And the other 4, including the drunk, trigger-happy leader, they decided to fire some shots. And boom, boom, boom. Yeah, a lot of gunshots was heard downstairs because they had a party in the attic. And that's why the so-called fog bomb was thrown in the first place by the by former OG numbskull himself, which was David's father. Oh no, Jacob's father. I'm sorry, Mr. David. Willie's co-worker, by the way. And they started shooting. One was shot in the arm. Dang. And he had no other choice but to resist. The other numbskull was shot in the leg. My leg. He had to stop. But then the third numbskull, he got a gun shot. He got his gun shot out of his hand. It sounded like a dog, but the trigger happy son of a jerk, the drunk leader that killed Madison, he actually had it bad. As in, he got smoked, son. And the person that smoked him was none other than Lieutenant Lester Brooks himself. Brooks shot him dead. This is for Madison Lawrence. So, all the individuals who survived, even the ones that got shot and jumped, they all had to be sent to the police station at Clarksville Police Department. Everybody was asked about this, and the guy responsible for taking the picture, he confessed everything. He was afraid. He was threatened, but he couldn't stand it anymore. So all that being said, Mr. Regret Everything, numbskull, he had an easier sentencing. He had it coming. And he had to serve let's just say that he served 18 months because he was like young, while everybody else had to serve 15 years. Wow, that's crazy. Because enough was enough. And as a former numbskull, he gave Jacob's new girlfriend, Diane, and the Scorpions a respect from one gang to another. And Brooks was pleased to see all of them unite as one. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Kyosha left the household and went back to the hotel that she spent a couple days at. Because on Sunday, she started hitting the road back to Indiana, back to her family. And as for Willie and Olympia, they were so thankful that the so-called nightmare was over. Not to mention, they had to see the 10 o'clock news, and they talked about the so-called individuals, the numbskulls responsible for Madison Lawrence's death, Lenny's daughter's death, when the Scorpions, including David Walker, got involved with the police department and put an end to this madness. David? Wait, isn't that your co-worker? Oh my. I guess he got back to I guess he was giving the numbskulls, his old gang, a revenge. And it was crazy. So, for a while, Olympia was no longer wearing black leathered boots. And she gave her beret hat a break. And she's no longer revolutionary. She was no longer mad against the white man. No longer Black Panther. She was back to being her usual self. But before they went to bed, they had to repent of their sins. After what went down to the fact that she lost her faith. But she gained it back. And Willie, before he even went to bed, he actually sent me a thank you message on Facebook, whether on mostly on Messenger. And he actually quoted Tupac when he said, "There's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand. You are appreciated." When he was quoting Dear Mama by Tupac, but he quoted to me for helping him get through the day at City Hall. But then the very next day, Saturday, things changed. Everybody from the neighborhood, some had tears and others had flowers, and their pets have been better. They want to apologize, and they had signs said, "We're sorry, we love you, justice is served. Please, please stay." It's like, wow. And the little girl, she had a bouquet of roses. It was a beautiful moment. And they had tons of mail. Tons, like hundreds. Like, dang! We gonna read that in one day? To the fact that they actually went bonkers. But Olympia, on the other hand, she got on Facebook. She got on Facebook Live and she actually did a dedication song to me. But what song did she do? Well, she was not wearing eyeglasses. She was not wearing a wig. She actually just got up and then she just decided to do something. But based on my help towards Willie, as well as listening to my rap song West Van Hook under my Uncle Bean alias, she decided to sing a song in return What song did she sing? Well, let's say that Olympia sung Stevie Wonder's Too Shy to Say. Too Shy to Say was the name of the song, and she sung it. But near the end of the song, like, she started breaking down and she cried. I mean, she cried. And of course, she raised her head up and looked at the camera with tears falling. I'm sorry, Taylor. I'm sorry you had to see me like this. But thank you so much for what you did to Willie that other day. And that song, that West Van Hook song, it was really powerful. It seemed like I deserved a wake up call as much as you did. Thank you. But in her mind, she knew that for a long time I have been doing videos, and some of the videos that I've been making, I took them down. But why must I keep doing that? At least I don't have to deal with copyright claims, but I am not going to let my videos be taken down. I'm going to keep it where it stands. And everybody on Facebook started to react. Some had the crying emoji, the heart emoji, the care emoji, the thumbs up emoji. Like, they were supporting Olympia after being hated upon for being the wife of an individual who got hated upon for a rape, for killing a white girl. But that was not the case. But what was? Exactly. And even Morgan, no, not Morgan, I'm sorry. I mean Missy Beverly Taylor, cousin Taylor, shout out to you, including Willie's daughters. Everybody that was down with Olympia and Willie from day one, including I, had to respond to Olympia's video. I was the one that said, "Thank you very much, Olympia." So the very next day, well, later on that Saturday, Willie and Olympia went out to the movies. Everybody gave them standing ovation. The justice was served and it was peaceful. But church, it was back to normal again. And Olympia was leather boot free. She was guilt free. Willie was fear free. Back to normal. Peaceful. Not to mention, Jacob was pleased, and one day he and Diane from the Scorpions performed the Flamingos' I Only Have Eyes for You as a duet. And they actually sounded good together. But man, if it wasn't for my help, the Scorpions' help, the little girl that find peace in Willie and Olympia, Lieutenant Brooks, Keosha's concern to running straight to Willie, Ashley for making t-shirts and making a fortune, $3,500, to having Willie's daughters to support and stand by his side, even though they're far away from each other, to the fact that um, Lenny is now Olympia's new boss, and they still tight. To David and Jacob, and not to mention Jacob's story. It was in the newspaper for right now. It's like a brand new week started. The newspaper, the Clarksville Daily. Jacob Walker's story about Willie Pringle. And the fact that Mr. I regret being a numbskull, he got his act together. To the fact that he don't even deserve to be locked up for 18 months. He was actually let go in 9 months, half of his sentence. Good behavior. Just like that. But that coming Friday, it was a powerful movement, a special day for Willie. To the fact that the city park where he and Madison used to meet at is now called Madison Lawrence Memorial Park. Olympia was there. Willie was pleased to be there. Lenny was there to honor his daughter's legacy. The Scorpions were there, including Jacob and his Scorpionette girlfriend, Diane. David was there, Willie's co-workers, and the church. The fact that the little girl was there too. But what were they going to do? Well, they actually sung a song. They sung a song together. And they all got along just fine. Willie was pleased. Olympia was pleased. Clarksville was pleased. Because the city of Clarksville is back to one again. Even the Clarksville PD, including Lester, they sung along. And they actually felt so thankful to bring peace together. Because the so-called guy who killed Cyrus, he got taken out by the black gang. But bad guys always have a negative ending. But Willie had a good one. So Willie, Olympia, David, Jacob, Diane, the Scorpions, the Clarksville Police Department, the church, and everybody in Clarksville lived happily ever after. And there you have it. A long-awaited, almost 3-hour part 3 of Cold Man's Winter, Betrayal. But like I said, it was a long one. Longer than part 2, but this is serious business, and I feel thankful to put this to an end. Time to wrap it up. But man, it's a crazy world we're living in. A lot of hate crime still going on, and all that has got to stop, die down soon. But the only way to do it is get involved now, because one person can't do it all. It's going to take nations of millions to slow this problem down. And with all that being said, thanks for watching this long-awaited part 3 of Cold Man's Winter episode. And like I said, the link to the video Look Down Lord will be in the description bar down below. And there will be more in stores. Well, before I say that, I gotta remember to say, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the notification bell, and then there'll be more in stores. But what's the point of ending Cold Man's Winter without mentioning this week's sweet lady? But instead of one, it's going to be Ladies of the Week. But who are the sweet ladies of the week? Well, none other than Willie's Angels. Da, 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 da. As in, good morning, angels. Good morning, Willie. And who are they? Who are Willie's angels? Willie Pringle's angels, that is. Ashley Kendall, Jasmine, Janisha, and the oldest daughter, Kiosha. So, and to all of Willie's angels, I never forgot about you. Since I remembered seeing Kiosha, since I mentioned talking about Ashley, I probably would have to remember Jasmine, because she was in one of the Thanksgiving feasts. Like last time I seen her there. Look, it's been a long time. And Kiosha, on the other hand, the oldest. Last time I seen her was like between 2019 and 2021. So shout out to Kiosha, Ashley, Jasmine, and Janisha, the daughters of Willie Pringle. And if one of them saw me this coming Thanksgiving, let's just say that the oldest, Kiosha, decided to stop by and celebrate Thanksgiving with us this year. But who knows? But if she did, let's just say that she broke down because of what I said in this video. She broke down and the open arms are needed. Because everybody's family, we all need love, we all need support, we all need respect for each other one way or another. I can't forget about you guys enough. But this is the real deal. And besides, it's a tough one, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to hold on. With all that being said, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, signing out.